Hi, my name is Cynthia Kane, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Kane Intentional Communication Institute and the author of How to Communicate Like a Buddhist, Talk to Yourself Like a Buddhist, and How to Meditate Like a Buddhist. And today, I was having coffee with one of my friends, and we were talking about the Ketanji Brown Jackson nominee and how incredible she is at being in difficult conversation, right? And composing herself and being able to express herself in a clear and conscious way. And my friend was asking, how in the world is she doing this? If it were me, right? Like, I would be getting passive aggressive, I would be sarcastic, I would be showing my emotion, and yet she is able to be there very composed and clear. And I was telling her that this is exactly the work that we teach our students how to do. And whether she knows that she's doing it or not, what she is doing in that moment is, first, she's probably aware of the sensations in her body. So she is aware of the sensation potentially of discomfort, of frustration, of anger, of feeling misunderstood. And instead of letting that be what fuels her emotion and then dictates her language, what she's able to do is slow everything down. So right now, in terms of interacting, things happen so quickly that we don't really know what's going on, right? And what is going on, though, is that there's a sensation that's happening in the body that's fueling an emotion, and then that emotion fuels your reaction. So you become passive aggressive, you become sarcastic, you shut down, you walk away. And in that moment, you're talking to yourself about the situation as well. It's happening so quick now that we don't really know that we're doing it, but most of the time in those moments, we're talking about how we can't believe the other person is thinking this way about us. How could they even imagine that we would do certain things like this? And that also fuels the emotion, which fuels the reaction. Though what we want to do is we want to slow everything down so we can start to change the pattern, so we become more responsive. And that's what you really see her do so well, because what's happening is the sensation is welling up in the body, and in that moment it's saying, okay, I'm about to go into my default pattern of reacting. And instead, we talk to that moment differently. We are able to say, because we feel the sensation, you're feeling misunderstood right now, you're feeling uncomfortable right now, you're feeling attacked right now, and that's okay. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what are my hands doing? What are my feet doing? What's my belly doing? Because what we want to do is we want to be able to access our parasympathetic nervous system in that moment. Often when we are in difficult interactions, it is stressful and we feel threatened in some way. And so we are in the stress response. We are in the sympathetic nervous system, which is that fight, flight, freeze nervous system, where we don't have all of our faculties intact to be conscious, to be clear, or to be concise, or to hold a conversation, which is oftentimes why we don't. So what we want to do is we want to move into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest part of our nervous system, while we're in those difficult and uncomfortable moments, so that we can access ourselves and express ourselves without the emotion leading the way. So to be able to access your parasympathetic, we come into our bodies and we say, okay, what are my hands doing? What are my feet doing? What is my belly doing? Once we've been able to find rest in the body and we've almost moved the emotion to the side, then we can look at the other person in front of us and see the other person as someone that we respect, someone that we care for, someone that we want to be helpful to, or someone that we want to find the humanness in, right? Find a way that we are connected similarly so that we can look at them through friendly eyes. Then after we see them through friendly eyes, then we can express ourselves. Then we can speak consciously and clearly and concisely so that we're heard. And the other piece to this too is the way that silence is being used, right? Oftentimes we use silence to power over or to punish or to push away, where silence in this case is really used to bring about more collaboration, because we get to use the silence to check in, to be able to say, is this conversation going in a hurtful way, or is this conversation going in a helpful way? If this is going in a hurtful way, my responsibility is to keep the integrity of the conversation intact. So I'm going to bring it back to moving forward, right? if this is already helpful, I'm just going to continue. But the silence gives us the ability to tap into the conversation to see how it's going. And it also helps us move the emotion so that we can feel what's happening for us. And instead of giving over to it, being able to say, I see that, I feel that, and now I'm going to come into my body. I'm going to ask myself, what are my hands doing? What are my feet doing? What are my belly doing? And then I'm going to be able to look to the other person. And after we express ourselves, what we're doing is we're really just holding space for a reaction. We are human, so we are meant to react. And so our work in that moment is to just hold space for whatever reaction it is, and not to get caught up in the other person's language or their reaction, but to then maybe either go back to what we were saying, or go and lead the conversation in a different path, or truly be able to connect with that person, right? In their pain, potentially, if that's what they're experiencing. And so, my friend was like, she probably has like a great advisor who gave her like all the language, and maybe she did, though I really truly believe that it's not about scripts. It's not about having the right phrases. You might have some go-to phrases or things of that sort, but to truly be able to be in the position where you have people, asking questions, kind of coming at you, and being able to access your language, you have to go through these steps. These are the steps that we teach in the Kane Intentional Communication Training Program, and it's the Kane Intentional Communication Practice, where you listen to yourself, you listen to others, you speak consciously, clearly, and concisely, you use silence as a part of speech, and also you spend time to notice your distractions, see that you're caught, and come back to the present moment. The piece here, though, is being able to access yourself, access your own language. Because when you are able to do that, you aren't worried about what to say next, because you just trust that you are going to speak in a kind, honest, and helpful way, and you are going to speak aligned with your highest self, right? So that you are showing up and speaking in a way that you respect and that you feel good about. And so this is really, whether she knows it or not, that is truly what's happening within her as she is sitting there, so composed, so clear, so concise, and so conscious. And it's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to watch. And I wanted to just share with you here some of the steps and practices that you can take as well to really feel grounded and connected in difficult interactions, to be able to access yourself, to have conversation. And if you want to learn more, you can. Just come visit us at Kane Intentional Communication Institute.com and reach out. All right. Talk soon.